Welcome. Thank you for being persistent and waiting for Zoom to get us back up and running. Did anybody get to go to Family Feud? Hello from Ukraine. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for being here. Vegas, I used to live there. Hello, Vegas. I'm in California, and we were just saying that it is only 84 degrees where I am at, so I'm excited. Hello from Romania. Yes, Cleveland, Ohio. Got us in Utah. I love it. We're getting everybody jumping into the Nearpod. There is a fun matching game for you. If you are brand new to Nearpod, hi, I'm so glad you're here. And if you are experienced, that's what we're going to call ourselves, right? We're going to call ourselves experienced. If you have been with Nearpod for a while, please, I would love for you to share your knowledge in chat and give us all the good tips, because I want to steal from you too. The link appears to not work. Oh no. If you go to app.nearpod.com, you can manually type in the INTHF if that long link is not working for you. If you go straight to nearpod.com, you should also be able to type in the student code. So I am so sorry if that link is not working for you. I can see that we do have 39 people that have jumped in. I hope that you're getting a chance to rename the animal. We are going to, just to let you know, everybody was out of Zoom. We are starting from the beginning, so you haven't missed anything. I want to show you from the student perspective this animal rename game, if you haven't seen it. So on the internet, if you do a search for rename animal, there's a hilarious method for you to take a look and figure out, what is this? So is there another name for a raccoon that you have heard? And if somebody wants to type that in chat, you can do that. Oh, we are posting the links right there into chat. Oh, trash bandit. Yes, I've heard that. So here in the Nearpod, I can find, ooh, this one is called a trash panda. Yes, I love it, trash panda. So we're going to click on trash panda and we're going to click on the raccoon, and boom, you have a match. So if you're just joining us because Zoom came back up for you, the code to get into the Nearpod is INTHF, and we have people posting the direct link for you. Thank you everyone for filling up the chat. And yes, if that link is not working for you, you're unable to get to nearpod.com and manually type in the code as well. I will be flipping between the student and the teacher version. So yes, I love this game. It is a great warm-up for you at the beginning of the school year. The kids love it. So if you do an internet search with your favorite browser to say animal renames, there are hundreds of different names. Some of them are highly inappropriate, so don't do a live search in class, please. Teacher tip. But inside of Nearpod, I used matching pairs, and the first pair, I type in the name of the animal, and in the next box, I do a straight image search and find that animal. So let's see if we can make another match. So we have a zebra here. Did somebody find the appropriate rename of the zebra? It's a barcode horse. Yes. So I'm going to click on the zebra, barcode horse. And so the kids love this game. I have several different variations to warm that up. And we get some really good conversations going about, well, wait, what would you name that bear? So one of my favorites is, of course, the pantless thunder goose. So we have our ostrich and the pantless thunder goose. Yes, danger floof. There are lots of different names. An alligator is an American murder log. So just do a search for animal rename game. You'll find it online and have that set up. So welcome everybody. We have dropped in the link for the Nearpod. If the link isn't currently working for you, you can go to nearpod.com and type in. Oh, perfect. So we'll get to extend the session just a little bit, and everyone will keep me on track as well. So hi, if you are just joining us, we have started. You haven't missed anything. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward in our presentation, but just a great way to build community by renaming animals. You are in the Connecting Students' Hearts and Mind sessions to talk about social emotional learning. And we have been delayed a little bit, but that is all right. I'm so happy that you're here. We're going to talk about ways to make connections with students using Nearpod. Just a really quick introduction is if you're joining us, you can watch Zoom in one tab and have Nearpod open in another device or another tab and flip back and forth. You are also welcome to just join me by watching the screen. The link should be in chat for you, or you can type in the 5-letter code that's available at the top of the screen. It's also my name. So I have renamed myself the code just in case you want to find me in Zoom. And then toggle back and forth and we are ready to go. Hopefully you've had a chance to join the Nearpod, but yes, you are absolutely welcome to sit and join us through chat as well. If you would like to take notes, there is an amazing way to connect your Nearpod through student notes. All you need to do is find that down arrow, look for notes, and then connect it through Google Drive, through OneDrive, or to send them to email. I often have my students use student notes because there are things that they aren't ready to say in class and they need to process. And so by having them take notes, they can come and follow back up with me. All right. Also, during the session, you can use Q&A and chat. We have 3 lovely people that are moderators that are here to help you. I will try to monitor the chat as well. And if you have tips, if you have tricks, please share them in chat because again, I want to steal all of your ideas as well. Wait, did I say steal? I meant borrow. So feel free to use chat or the Q&A questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer those in as close to real time as possible. So thank you all. All right, a little bit about me. We'll make this really short. I'm Delane Johnson. I am in Clovis, California. That is right in the middle of California. My pronouns are she, her. I am an AP computer science principles teacher. So the kids keep me on my toes for high school. And I'm also a tech integration coach for grades K-6. I help out in the upper grades, but I'm fortunate enough to have a team of tech coaches. So we have people that are covering grades 7-12 next year. So really excited that I get to focus on elementary school. I am a Nearpod pioneer and a certified trainer. At the end of this presentation, I'll show you where you can go to become a Nearpod certified educator. Highly recommend it. Love going through the program. And so that is enough about me. Let's get talking about some social emotional learning. And Nearpod, there we go. So to connect to our theme, what do you love? So if you could do more of what you love, what would that be? Do you have a side hustle that you'd be willing to share with us? Do you have a pastime? For me, I would love to be able to read more. Just want to relax and I want to read more. But if you could do more of what you love, what would that be? And I'm going to go ahead and hide your names for you. And that way you can feel a little bit more anonymous. Thank you for letting me flip that screen. I love it. So you can see that people have found images that they can put in this collaborate board. If you agree with someone's statement, you can click on that little heart. And so clearly I love Ted Lasso. I enjoy this show very much. If you haven't seen it, it is about an American football coach that becomes a professional league soccer coach, the other football coach, and all of the trials and hilarity that ensues when someone goes from football to football. Oh, live music and festivals, travel. Yes, I would absolutely love to travel. So this is another way that you can help students connect with each other. This is very low entry. People do not have to give up personal information if they don't want to. It is a free to state what I love in a safe environment. So students will often not tell you very deeply what a side, like I have students with side hustles. Some of them do 3D printing. Some of them are graphic designers. I'm amazed when I walk by computers. It is a collaboration board. Yes. There are fantastic designs now. If you haven't seen a collab board in the last couple of months, they now have jungle theme, and this is a white brickwork theme. So I love shiplap. So I thought, why not? But maybe kids can find someone that they agree with. Like all of my travel friends, yes, read and code. Yes, we have somebody that is either a pilot or likes to fly and travel. So this is a question that I would ask. How can we figure out if you only have students post pictures? What does that mean? Right? And so getting them to begin to have those conversations. What do you think someone meant by this fantastic photo? Are they artistic? Do they like to scrapbook? Right? And so very low entry. Oh, we have somebody that potentially likes to dance, potentially likes to exercise. And so just another great way for students to be able to make those beginning of the year collections. And connections. I said collections, I meant connections. So thank you. Something else that I want to point out for the collab board, under student options, you can choose to have students see each other's names. I often like to do this anonymously at the beginning of the school year, so they feel like they can release information in a safe space. I allowed you to be able to edit responses in case you misspelled something. Sometimes it's best if we don't want them to edit responses. It depends on your group. And then if you need to moderate, we all have our loves. So if you need to moderate, you absolutely can. I left that open because we are in a safe space and I know that you'll keep things appropriate. Sometimes we have kiddos that we need to monitor a little bit more. So that moderation is available to you under student options. So fantastic, different ways to use collab boards. If you'd like to share how you've used a collab board in the chat so other people can see, we'd love to borrow your ideas as well. All right, well, let's see what other activities we can do. Thank you for sharing your love and your joy. So today's session, we are going to be looking at the how, the why, and the what, otherwise known as purpose, process, and product. So I'm going to talk to you about some social emotional learning resources. If you are new to social emotional learning, or hopefully this is something that you haven't seen before, then I'll show you a couple of ways that you can use Nearpod to engage students in the middle of a learning experience. Or if it's just a one-time use of Nearpods for a collab board, I do that all the time. And then what does the product look like? What do the reports look like? What can you expect from students? Okay, so what's our why? I love the resource CASEL, C-A-S-E-L. So CASEL.org has a fundamentals wheel, and there are 5 areas of social emotional learning. And so I've highlighted some of those areas in the Nearpod, but we're going to look at 2 very specific areas in the wheel. So for me, castle.org is my go-to website. If you are able to, I'm going to show you in the next one, you can take a look at the wheel if you are live with us in Nearpod. So this web page should hopefully have popped open for you. And this is the framework. So I cannot seem to scroll right now. We're going to open that up. Does the internet want to work for us today? I don't know. We were really excited that we broke the internet. So many people are in Camp Engage that we crashed the system. There we go. So in the framework, there is a lot of explanation here on the website on how you can use this with your students, but here's the wheel. And there are 5 areas for students in social emotional learning. And these are all of the things that we hope that students can do for themselves, but often even we need help with these things, right? So we hope that they can regulate and do self-awareness and self-management, that they have relationship skills, that there's responsible decision-making. So how can we use Nearpod to help students with these processes? Okay, so let's go back. And so again, that's castle.org. But for Nearpod, what we are going to be focusing on is these areas and how those areas break down and how we're able to make those connections with students. So are we looking for empathy and establishing and maintaining social awareness? Are we making responsible and caring decisions? Are we developing healthy identities and managing emotions? Right. So we're going to go through and look at social awareness and relationship skills through Nearpod. Let's try some activities. I think you're ready. Yes. And do let me know if there are any questions that pop up. So what do you feel is important when you're working with your colleagues? So not working with students, but working with your colleagues. This is a multiple select poll. So you can choose as many options as you feel is important when working with your colleagues. Some things that I'd like to point out in Nearpod. I know you're reading and I'm talking, and that is a terrible way to model how you work with students. But if this is your first time in Nearpod or you're still fairly new with it, there is a fantastic feature called Immersive Reader. So for students that might not understand a specific word, they've never heard that word before, they've never been able to use it in context. Let's say that they need to hear what's on the screen. Immersive Reader is available for you. So I highly encourage you to click on Immersive Reader and see what that can do for your students. So right now we are looking at this student view. As a teacher, because I'm running the Nearpod, I can flip back and forth between what students see and what I need to see. So let me go ahead and click on that teacher view. I've hidden all your names, so you can easily see where your students are at with a poll. Again, this was a multiple select poll. So there are going to be blue dots for all of the things that people find important. If it was a single select poll, you'd only see one per option, right? I can also share a breakdown with you as the teacher. So there is a share button on the left for me on the teacher side. This will take over your screens. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I wanted to give you, if you're still deciding what's important when you're working with your colleagues, you're going to lose that ability for just a little bit. When I click on share, it completely takes over your screen and you get to see a graph of the results. This is completely anonymous, but can you see different ways that you could use a multiple choice poll with your students to be able to build that community? Oh yes, welcome everyone. The code for Nearpod should be dropped into chat, so you should see that pretty quickly. If not, it is right next to my name in Zoom and up at the top of the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and unshare the poll. But in chat, if you could drop in ways that you could see using this with your students. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that I use it with my students, but I love the anonymous ability to drop in polls to ask silly questions right in the middle of the lesson. Oh, a language survey, right? I love it. Okay, so from my student view, let's see here. We're looking at ways that you want to work with your colleagues. Are you looking for psychological safety? Are you looking for dependability, structure and clarity, the meaning of work and your impact of work, right? So according to my teacher view, it looks like dependability is the #1 preferred. And again, this is multiple choice, but dependability is the #1 preferred means when you're working with colleagues. The second one is psychological safety, right? So what does that mean for our students? When you're looking at these 5 methods on working with teams, it is about trust. And there was a survey done by Google, a research survey actually done by Google. It's Google at Work. And they found that the #1 item for teams to be effective is psychological safety. Dependability, obviously, is #2, right? And so there is a need for trust. And how can we use Nearpod to help build trusting relationships within our classrooms? And so I like to start with activities that don't require personally identifiable information. If there is a question that you ask and everybody goes, oh, I know who that student is, that student could feel isolated, that student could feel just very, I don't want to say picked on, but when you ask low, easy questions, like let's rename some animals, you really can't get that wrong. and it's a great way to engage in conversations. So I could see that someone has a question. If anybody could help me out, and what are we? I don't know that I can scroll and find it. Okay, we're doing okay. Okay. Do let me know if someone could pop on, or I'll check chat really quick if there's a question I can answer. Yes, so many tech issues. I know it takes tech people to understand the tech issues. Perfect. Okay, so here's one way that I like to engage in non-personally identifiable information, but I'm also doing a social emotional check-in. In this case, because I love Ted Lasso, I created a Ted Lasso board for different faces. Now, in the past, I have students that are neurodiverse, and faces do not help them identify their emotions. So I often use animals or emojis or things that help them kind of dial in how they're feeling that don't necessarily have to do with human facial expressions, right? So it could be a dancing trash panda. If you were here earlier, we renamed animals. So I often will find animals to help them relate to how they're feeling. I do this every morning for a social emotional check-in. I would like you to do this in Nearpod. So here is the biggest graphic. I'm going to send you to a poll. If you could tell me how you're feeling based on a Ted Lasso character on this poll. And again, we are anonymous, so no one will see which character you select. If you don't remember what character it was, like, oh, was it B or was it G? I don't remember which one. You can click on the image in the left-hand side and then find that appropriate or that same alignment. So again, social emotional check-ins, often a lot of safety with using animals or with using food. I'll do breakfast foods. Are you feeling like cereal or like oatmeal today? And so there's no judgment. It's an anonymous poll, and it lets me do a really quick check of the room, particularly with first period. They are not awake. I have high school students, although we are starting almost an hour later this upcoming year. So it's going to be interesting if students are more awake now that our bell schedule has been pushed back. All right, how we do? Oh, lots of J's. And as we are scrolling through, a couple of A's and E's. And of course, you can click that share button and let students know, hey, am I alone in feeling like character A, or does half the class feel like me? Okay, I actually saw this quick question. I teach in Clovis Unified in Clovis, California. Oh, I love Ted Lasso. Jason Sudeikis character. Yep, a football coach, American football coach who becomes a European football coach. It's very cute. So it looks like our highest response is character C, which is Ted Lasso himself, and he has a wonderful smile face. And so I just love sharing a little bit about me when I'm working with students. Many of my students have never seen that show, and so I look for ways to connect with them, like what are they watching and what are they listening to? And so there's a great way to collect that and collaborate boards. And so the letters represent the characters from the image. So in the poll, if you click on the image, it will make it larger, and then you can see which character. That is my correct Twitter handle, yes. It is like jumping into a pool of catch and falling on Sour Patch Kids. Congrats, you just met a cool person. Oh no, you can't return to the choices when you click the image. You should be able to find a little X and it will close the image to let you go back. So let me click on the image for you. There should be a white X in the upper corner to let you close that image to get back to the poll. So yes, let me make that a little bit larger for you. So I love it. Lots of smiling faces this morning for C. Yes. So again, this was a single select poll. Earlier, we had done the multiple select poll, and so you could see the differences. But yep, social emotional check-ins for me every morning, and being able to get a feel for the temperature of the room. Are they very tired? Are they very energized? What happened? Do I need to ask questions? Yes, I also set a timer because I have students that will look at the screen and spend 5 minutes deciding which animal they most feel like. So I did set a timer, and you can do that in Nearpod, which is an amazing feature when you need students to get moving too early in the morning. So here's another check-in that I like to do right in the middle of lessons for a brain break. One gotta go. You have a picture. You need to cross out which one of these has got to go and write down your why. I have almost started verbal fights in my classes using one gotta go. It's an amazing way to get conversations rolling, particularly when you use items like soda or candy. They get very, very defensive of their favorite product. If you go straight to nearpod.com, you can type in the student code, and I have that code here at the top and next to my name. I know for some people the link isn't working, but yes, thank you for posting the link as well. But if you go straight to nearpod.com, you should be able to type in the code there. So from the teacher perspective, you can see I've set a timer again. So this to encourage students to move a little bit faster. It's meant as a 3-minute brain break right in the middle of a very heavy lesson. And it gets them talking about why they don't enjoy Little Caesars. Like, we have 2 people that agree that Little Caesars has got to go. As a teacher, I can also share your results. So for example, if I wanted to look through and see what students are writing, because they can't see each other right now in this drawing. Oh, Little Caesars because they don't have any stores, because they don't like the sauce. I love it. I don't enjoy this, right? And I can flip through and look to see where people and my students have crossed out what's got to go. Like that, yuck. And you can see that that was live in real time. I love this because I can check in on students, and you realize that I have 254 people, so I won't be able to look at them all. But there seems to be a consensus on Little Caesars. Once a student has submitted it, I can absolutely share someone's work anonymously so we can have that discussions. Who agrees, who disagrees? Somebody said shh in the chat. But that is a hot dog a sandwich. You've seen a lot of these questions circulate, right? One gotta go. You do an internet search for the game, one gotta go, and there are pre-made pictures for you. So I go through, and I usually do this about once or twice a week, especially when I know that it's a longer class day. We have block scheduling. So I try to build in a lot of brain breaks and to get kids to make connections with each other, to build that psychological safety, because, oh, right, we both didn't like Little Caesars, or we both really love Snickers bars. Right? To give students something in common to get those conversations rolling. And so, yes, I can absolutely check in even though they haven't submitted. If you look at my screen here and I scroll through, you can see the words in progress, and I can watch students live in real time as they're drawing. I often have to check in with my loves that are just scribbling on the screen. And if that's the brain break that they need, fantastic. Right? Otherwise, hey, go ahead and erase that screen and let's get moving on this particular draw. I do one gotta go anonymously. So I do it by polls. If I don't need them to draw or justify, if it's just a really quick brain break, I'll use a Nearpod poll. One gotta go, what's out? And it'll be candy, it'll be shoe types, it'll be music types. And so I'll scroll through and see if I can see somebody. Here's an in progress. So I'll know if I need to visit that student. I also realize that time is up. Our 3 minutes goes by so very fast, but lots of pre-made one gotta goes, or I will make my own. And I don't always use images. Sometimes I just use words, right? And no, they just know that we're taking a brain break because the activity has nothing to do with the content that I'm talking about. But I do encourage them to take care of their bodies. I am the teacher that doesn't wait for kids to ask for permission to go to the restroom. I have passes. I ask them to please wave at me while they're grabbing a pass, and I only have 2 passes. So if both passes are gone, unless it's an emergency, you'll need to wait for another student to return. But I let them manage their bodies and let them stand and stretch. So they kind of get a feel for who I am through the one gotta goes, through the social emotional check-ins. And I can share a response. If I'm doing a poll, then yes, I always share the poll when time is up. Or if I always have a student that says, show mine, Mrs. Johnson, show mine. All right, I will go ahead and share that with you. So how I do that is you can click on someone's response, and then you can click the share button. I'm going to take over your screen. As long as the student has submitted that activity, even though somebody is in progress, I have shared screens and the whole class goes, oh, because they were in the middle of working on that particular process. They were drawing, they were typing. It does not erase students' work when I share that. So I can click on unshare, and then you will get your screen back to make edits. So another teacher trick when you're doing this is often I will share work just to get them to pause to look at me. So I might not be ready to share that student's work to have a discussion, but it's a way to get the screen to stop. And so they look at me like, hey, what's going on? Right. We have smoke detectors in the bathroom. I can see that. And so it's something that our SRLs get to check in, but I understand a lot of people have different rules. And so that's, for me, they know that this is a brain break. It's a chance for them to stand and stretch. And everybody runs their classroom in a different way. So I know you have to be safe. It is not made on a slide. So I saw that question. This is a Nearpod Draw It. I started in Google Slides as the base. And if you want, I can hop over and show you that Google slide deck. So there is an add-on that you can use for Nearpod. So if you use Google Slides, go into add-ons and do a search for Nearpod. And I just dropped in that particular activity. So in the Draw It, let's see, let me scroll. I've got chat covering it, so I apologize. There it is. I use that add-on to add a Draw It. It takes me into a Nearpod-like screen, and then I can do all of the Nearpod activities. And so it's just built right in. So, or you can go straight to Nearpod itself and use that Draw It feature. Sorry, Zoom is covering up where I need to be. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can catch any more questions in chat about this particular activity. Oh, almost lost my laptop too. Okay, what else can we do to get students talking, to have those brain breaks and use some social emotional learning skills? So inside of Nearpod, they have brain breaks. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and let you play this on your own, but I'm going to play it here as well. So we know that students have limited attention spans. I do too. So down here, I don't know if you can see my screen really quick. Come back to Zoom if you're on Nearpod. There is a little icon for Brain Breaks video. If you have that icon, I highly recommend that you pop into it. So this particular brain break is called This or That. And so students can stand, students can sit. I am introverted. I know you wouldn't believe it, but I'm an introverted extrovert, or an extroverted introvert, an extroverted introvert. And so this or that, this particular video, I'm going to click play and I'll stop talking, but students can do the activities right in front of them if they need to remain private, or they can stand and stretch and have this activity be very large, very big, so other students can see how they're feeling. But this is a way for me to give kids a break from what we're doing. And so this or that I found under a little brain break video. So there's a little brain icon when I'm signed in as a teacher, not as a student, to add it. And it's a part of the Nearpod library. Let me go ahead and play this so you can see what this or that is. I won't play the whole video, but this can be used over and over again because feelings are different every day. I know it seems like I can only do this or that once. This one can be used over and over again.
Or
that.
I'd love
Hey
for you to
there.
play along.
Caitlin here. Stand up.
You can
This
sit.
game is all about today, right now. So base your answers on how you're feeling this.
Very second.
Please.
If you're feeling this right now, snap. And if you're feeling that right now, rub your hands together.
Let's go. Tired or awake? Hot or cold? Tall or short? It's not about height, it's about how you feel. Messy hair, don't care, or messy hair, do care. Like someone that way, or like no one that way? Jeans or sweats?
So I'm going to pause the video. Hopefully you had a chance to go through that on your own, but you could see how students' feelings could change every day. So this one, I don't use all of the time because there are so many different brain break videos. There's one where you do the superhero pose and it's just about breathing and it's centering yourself. So the brain breaks, like I said, I just throw these in the middle of a lesson because it keeps the kids on their toes. It keeps them awake, particularly first period. In the last 2 years, these kids have been so tired. Oh, I'm so sorry that you couldn't see the video. So they are all in Nearpod. And so how you answer the questions, you're just responding in front of your body, or if you have a student that wants to stand up and really express themselves, they can do that. So for my introverted students, they choose to remain in the chair and they're just kind of snapping or rubbing their hands in front of themselves. They're checking in with themselves. They're not necessarily sharing with the entire group. For my students that are a little bit more extroverted and they don't mind, they'll stand up and they'll snap, or they'll rub their hands around their classmates. So it's a way for them to make those connections, to hopefully build that psychological safety. So the brain break videos, so many varieties. If you have a chance to jump in, and how do you insert them? They are inside of Nearpod. So when you are building out a lesson, the brain breaks are available for you as you're building out a lesson. I know, first period is really tough, right? Here's some more social emotional learning lessons that are available to you inside of Nearpod. These are pre-built collab boards. I know that you can't click on them. This is a screenshot that I incorporated, but I wanted to show you that they range by grade levels. So for those that teach the littles, K2, it's a collaboration board about ice cream. So no personally identifiable information. Students can show you a picture of their favorite sundae, or what's your favorite ice cream flavor? And so they can find pictures of ice cream and upload them, right? If you could live anywhere, where would you live? Two truths and a lie can get a little tricky. And so just Nearpod has so many built-in activities for you. If you just need to grab one really quick because you can tell students are getting a little bit tired, or we need to make room to have conversations about non-education related topics so we can talk about education. So where these are in Nearpod, let's see if I can move Zoom for you and find, let's see here. Thank you for being patient with me. So many Zoom windows. So if I go to nearpod.com, we're going to see if we load. Here we go. Judgment-free zone, right? And here we go. So on the left-hand side, under Nearpod content, I have access to social emotional learning. So if you have access to it, it'll be there. And there are a bunch of mini lessons and full lessons for social emotional learning. Here are those check-ins that you can do. Earlier, if I go to the Nearpod library, Yes, this is a paid version. They have collections that run up here at the top. And so you can see things like Collaborate Board, which is where I found this particular collection, because it's one of the items that they are helping, Nearpod is helping us out with at the beginning of the school year. So here is where I found that screenshot, all about fictional characters, and you can use the preview and add to my lessons. Oh, definitely ask about your CSM, your customer service manager, how to get access to brain breaks. That might be something that you can get added. I really appreciate having them, and these collab boards, things that are just ready to go, and amazing ways to connect with my students. So look for those collab boards, particularly if you teach littles, having easier to answer questions that aren't like 2 truths and a lie. This would take them all day. But if you could fly, kids definitely have really good opinions about that. So the brain breaks are a part of the 21st Century Readiness Collection. Let me go back into Nearpod and let me show you. As I scroll here on the left, they have that readiness, the 21st Century program. And you can see it right here. So I'm going to click on that. And 20, like social emotional learning, classroom energy with brain breaks, and making connections. And so here are the options that are available in that 21st Century Readiness program. I highly recommend it. There's so much good stuff in here, and I know we don't have time, but definitely talk to your person and your CSM and see what you can do. Here in Nearpod, did I move on? I did move on. Okay, here's another way that I incorporate brain breaks and a way for kids to kind of laugh and have some fun. So this particular Nearpod feature is web content. Went into Nearpod, click on the activity called web content, and I put in a link from another website. And so this is WordWall. WordWall.net has pre-made games from other teachers. Students have gotten in there as well. So you definitely want to review the game before you just like, hey, this looks great. I haven't tested it. Let me give it to my students. Look for it really quick. But these are different ways for students to do practice. And it's repetitive practice. You don't have to track scores. I gave you a food quiz. I am not tracking your scores. I'm not tracking your name. It is just open for kids to have a fun trivia game. They have this really cute whack-a-mole game. I use that for vocabulary, for the littles. We put it up on the whiteboard, and then kids get to take turns. So the other thing that, I don't know if you're getting a chance to play it yet, but wordwall.net, great for students of all ages, but you can see that there are interactives. You can do a group sort, which would be the one that I would prefer with this activity, or you can play whack-a-mole. It might be a little bit harder to find the fact with whack-a-mole. I prefer that with vocab. Yes, and having them call out their times. I see that other people do love WordWall. So just another way to get students engaged and talking, and also really important for self-management and self-regulation. We have our loves that love to shout out. They get really excited whenever we play a game. So how do we get them to say, hey, can we tone that down a little bit? Can we maybe celebrate in a different way? So I like to clap this way, like, yes, I understand you're excited, but how do we do this without our voices? Can we get excited using our body? So practicing that self-regulation. I'm going to move you forward. I know I'm hearing the groans. Oh no, there goes wordwall.net. And yes, I wanted to mention a feedback survey. Definitely get to that feedback survey. All right, we're going to play some time to climb. Do you remember me talking about students celebrating and getting really excited and competitive? Okay, all, we are going to play a time to climb game. There are so many that are pre-built in Nearpod. I had to build this one out because I want it to be a non-educational topic. And so no, WordWall is not connected with Nearpod. I saw that question really quick. I used web content to add that activity directly into Nearpod. Okay, friends, first person that responds, are we doing beach, Himalaya, carnival, jungle sports, space? Look at all the different backgrounds to keep it fresh for students. Oh, the first one I saw was underwater. All right, we're going to go Valentine's Day. We are going to pick the underwater theme. Did you see how many themes there were? Oh my gosh. Okay. Do we need to randomize the answers? It depends on your students. Do you want to pause the game for discussion? Yes, especially when you're doing academic content. I'm actually going to turn the sound off on you because it gets overwhelming when every device in the classroom is running the sounds. Okay, so we're going to do underwater. I'm not going to randomize our answers because we're all online and we can't look over at a friend. All right, here we go. What you're going to do, if this is your first time playing Time to Climb, you get to pick a character. I often have to set a timer. Yes, you would need to be in the Nearpod to play the game, so you can play in chat. Oh, look at all of you picking your fantastic underwater characters. So I will tell the students you have 30 seconds to select a character because I do have kiddos that will scroll through 3 times looking for the perfect character. You can also see how many players are connected. So in your classroom of 36 students, it's say like, hey, I need 4 more people to pick. Who do I need to come visit? And then we'll click start game. So just a couple of more seconds. I know we're fighting with Zoom and we're fighting with slow internet connections. The koala's helmet is shaped to fit its ears. I'm looking to see if I can find a koala. I love it. The octopus does need a helmet. Everybody needs a helmet. That's hilarious. Okay, so I have about half of you. I'm going to click start game. I know we're competing against internet, so if you want to play in chat, you can still connect, but I'm going to go ahead and click on start game. And here we go. We're going to get competitive. Here's the countdown. So what is the #1 selling candy brand in the United States? This is the teacher view, right? So we can see how the class is doing. Oh, we have people responding in chat. There is a countdown timer. I set each question for 30 seconds. You can make it longer. 30 seconds is the shortest amount of time. So how did we do? I almost didn't believe this, but it was Wikipedia that told me that this was true. Reese's peanut butter cups. What? The game runs on its own. So as a teacher, I can be circulating. I can ask questions. I love this feature about Time to Climb. The #1 selling sneaker brand in the United States. You have your choice. And I provided logos instead of words, particularly for younger students. They respond better to images than they do to words. And Time to Climb lets you add images. I know, peanut allergies, right? I couldn't believe it was Reese's. So you have your choice between Adidas, Reebok, Nike, and Puma. Let's see how we all did. Oh, we've got some points. We've got some competitive people, 2 points off. So Nike, the #1 selling US brand. Here we go. We've got another question. What is the most widely used social media platform for adults in the United States? I'm very specific here about adults, not for Gen Z. That is a different option when we talk about Gen Z. So your choices are YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Ooh, we can see how people are answering. And how do we do with our last question? It's a surprise. So you can imagine classrooms just get so excited about running Time to Climb and figuring out what the answers are. How do we self-regulate without shouting out the answers so everyone can enjoy? I was a 0 out of 3 too when I was building it, so you're not alone. And look at that. We have somebody with 2,400 points. Congratulations. That is amazing. Look at that. And so many smart people. I was a 0 out of 3. So let me move forward really quick so that music moves on. But Time to Climb is an amazing way to start building community with your students when you ask non-academic questions, right? So yes, the faster that you answer, the more points you get. And so there is this another reason why I like to use images. I feel like for students that need to process words, they can respond quicker to images. And the immersive reader is available, but it's another reason why I read the questions out loud. So for students with low vision or processing needs, they can hear me say the question. I also, yes, it is like Kahoot. I also have students work in pairs. So if there is a higher level of competition, it gets students to talk to a neighbor, whether it's your elbow partner or your shoulder partner, right? They have to agree on an answer before they can click a selection, and it's about that self-regulation and self-management, responsible decision-making. Are you going to overtake your partner and not let your partner click? So I say partner A gets to choose, partner B gets to choose, right? Time to Climb is amazing. So many ways to build in that behavior management, and definitely for review, not just for brain breaks, but use it all the time for vocabulary review, concept review, and check-ins, right? So as far as we talked about the why being social emotional learning, we looked at Castle resources, castle.org, amazing resource for social emotional learning. We talked about the how in using Nearpod and some of the different activities that you are built into Nearpod or that you can create. We looked at multiple choice polls. We looked at how are you feeling using characters, but also using animals, matching pairs to match up renamed animals. We did a collaborate board so you could jump in and state what you love. Right? So the process is the product, right? We have reports in Nearpod, and we can definitely use those reports in Nearpod, but I find that just using Nearpod in itself starts to build that psychological safety. My high school students love Time to Climb. Any excuse to play a game, they were in. Choosing the character, oh yes, you had to represent yourself. But it's also really fun, and they just are looking forward for a reason to laugh. Being a high school student is tough, right? Just like being a third grader is tough. So knowing that you can see reports, and also that just using Nearpod in itself, everyone has their own screen, they can draw it, right? They can write it, they can speak it. There's an audio portion. You can see the results in the reports, but get them through some activities. So not sure where to go. Like, hey, I'm already with kids, or I'm going to be starting kids, or starting with kids in a couple of weeks. So there are icebreakers built into Nearpod in the social emotional learning section. So if your district purchased social emotional learning, oh, thank you, Sarah. You can find these culture building lessons and icebreaker activities. I have to do zero work in order to use these. Amazing. Often I'll build my own because I'm looking for ways that I can engage my students with what interests them. But if you need to quick grab something, these two things, fantastic. So let me jump over to my Nearpod and the social emotional learning. Let me scroll over here for Nearpod content. I have it on the left. Yes. So looking for icebreakers, looking for something like, hey, I've got 5 minutes in class before the bell rings. What can we do to build that classroom community? So activities under 5 minutes for grades K-5, 51 activities. Isn't that amazing? So Nearpod has put so much effort into making sure that we have what we need to be successful. Okay, so you can see, hopefully it'll load. Come on, Zoom, we can do this. Just different ways to address Castle, the wheel of competencies. Look at that, it's all connected. And let's see here. Sal, if you have the social emotional learning, then yes, it shows up automatically in the library. So let's brainstorm some ideas. I would love to borrow some ideas from you as well. So here is a collab board. It should be showing up for you in a second. We got it. We got it. So what's your favorite community building activity? How do you try to build that psychological safety so students can be silly with you and feel like they haven't been judged or worried about being who they are? And I would love to steal your ideas. Yes. Oh, time to climb. Or what was your favorite activity today? If you're still thinking about community building, what could you use moving forward? Oh, yes. Time to climb. Do you have yoga, just dance? I need to like bring in a PlayStation or something to get that done. So again, for the community board or collaborate board, if you joined us just a little bit late and this is your first time seeing a collaborate board, there are student options as the teacher, so you can moderate the responses. Like again, we all have our loves. They might need a little bit of support. Let's edit that. Let's not post that. So you can approve the student comments and posts. You can choose to have their names on. I opt to leave it anonymous. In the report, I know who wrote what, but students don't need to see that at the beginning until we build the psychological safety. So those student options are available to you. I'm going to shrink these instructions so we can see more. Yes, meme scales on a scale of feelings. So if earlier we did the Ted Lasso scale of feelings, open up your favorite internet browser, type in scale of feelings meme. There are hundreds of them. Art, cats, dogs, zoo animals, boats. There's a favorite one of mine on a scale of Mazda MDXs. So there are different variations of Mazdas that are in various forms of repair. There's one with a really giant inflatable duck and it broke. And so it's the stages of the duck deflating. Kids love that one. Playing music. Yes, my students come into music every morning and we play it while they're working so they know it's work time. Creating sentences with games. Ooh, I want to learn more about that. What meme are you? Having them build memes. They love when they can build memes. Would you rather? I play those too. Yes. Would you rather be invisible or would you rather be able to fly? And the justifications are amazing. Okay. So a couple of wrap up things as I realize that we're out of time. Thank you for staying later with the Zoom issues that we had. So I'm going to move forward on the collaborate board. Thank you so much for sharing some ideas. And as a reminder, you can get PD credit. So make sure that you are attending a session a day. You're doing the Camp Engage scavenger hunt. So you can submit that. And let's look at, so that's for prizes. Here's for PD. You can get up to 15 hours of PD. So watch these live or on demand through recordings and you'll get certificates. So I believe I saw in the chat that this session is still eligible for credit, even though we started a little bit late. So don't forget to look for those professional development credits. Where is the scavenger hunt? Oh, that's a great question. So if you go to Camp Engage and if you go to resources, here is the directions for the scavenger hunt. Oh, thank you for the comments. Oh, you're making me blush. And then I mentioned earlier, I love Nearpod. If you are interested in becoming a Nearpod certified educator, yes, please join us. We love, the more the merrier. Come and apply to be a Nearpod certified educator. And it's a fantastic group. I cannot tell you how responsive this group is, being able to post questions and ask. So yes, become an NCE, join us. And then there are other courses, of course, if you want to become a distance learning expert, interactive video star, interact video, play the video, pause the video, ask questions, gamification, so many badges. And connect with me on Twitter. I would love to continue the chat with you. So let's see if I can answer some Q&A questions with our last couple of minutes. So the scavenger hunt should still be open. I hope that was answered. And if you watch the recording, will you have the survey? Which survey? So are we like the feedback survey? I believe those should still be open. And why wasn't the wrong response showing on the chart? Ooh, I wish I had caught that when we were doing I'm not sure. I'm so sorry that I didn't see that Q&A question to find out what we were working on at 11:10. Well, hopefully you're able to get to the next session, and I will provide a student-paced version of this, and hopefully that should be able to be posted on the Engage, but find me on Twitter. Yes, I will follow you back. My Twitter is currently private, so follow me and then I will be able to follow you back. Thank you for reminding me of that. Thank you all. It's been such a joy to have you. Yes, if you open up notes, your notes should be able to have it saved in your drive, whether it's OneDrive or Google Drive. But I will be posting a self-paced version of this presentation so you can see the activities again. Yes. Thank you all for being here. You are amazing. Oh, yes. Thank you, Zoom, for connecting us. Feedback session available to you in chat. Thank you all.